What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Nora and thank you so much for watching. Before we jump into today's video, be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, follow your girl on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, because you already know we're growing the family across all platforms. Y'all, today we're back with a girl talk video. It's been a long time. It honestly has. It's been way too long and I felt like it was time for us to just kind of sit, chit chat, catch up, and just share right now, okay? And y'all know I love these videos because I honestly just kind of treat them like an honest girl chat. We're sitting here cooling in the crib, got a beverage, whatever it is, and we're just chatting. So a lot of times I kind of just like word vomit here on the camera. So hopefully y'all follow along. But this was something that I wanted to share and talk about for some time now. And I was like, girl, stop procrastinating, sit down, film the video, share it, and let's put it out there. And I felt like I just kind of wanted to talk about how I feel like I have been able to honestly just foster and curate this like new era that I am in, this just like environment and energy and aura that I feel like I have just been vibrating on. And kind of how I got there. You know, I'm kind of calling this my becoming her era, if you will. And I know how a lot of us feel about these like TikTok phrases, becoming her, becoming that girl, main character, whatever, all that nonsense. But for me, I don't know, becoming her, I feel like is really the best way to phrase it, because I feel like over the last 6 months, I would say, I've really been doing that. I've really been stepping into who I think I'm really supposed to be, the way I'm supposed to operate, the energy and vibrations that I'm supposed to vibrate on. And I kind of want to share how I feel like I got there. You know, obviously I don't think it was all done on my own by any means, but I definitely wanted to share just kind of how I have been able to get to this place. You know, kind of like what I've done. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a step-by-step playbook. I don't really think anything in life is really like that. Obviously, you know, everyday tasks, but when you're talking about personal development and just growing as an individual, I don't think it's a step-by-step process. I don't know, some people may disagree with me, but for me, I don't look at it that way. But there are definitely some things that I can highlight and pinpoint and say that made a difference. You know, that made a difference. That's definitely helping me feel like I am becoming her. Things that have honestly changed my life. So yeah, hopefully y'all enjoyed this video. Hopefully you can follow along, because again, y'all know I be all over the place. But yeah, let's jump right in. So becoming her, how have I, you know, really focused on becoming her? And honestly, I would say it kind of started out unintentionally, but at the same time intentionally, if you will. Again, follow along with me here. I really focused on reclaiming my time and prioritizing myself. I would like to consider myself someone who, you know, is there as much as I can be for the people I love, for my friends, my family, my partners, my job. I try to show up for people as often as I can. I've been very blessed with folks around me who I feel like show up for me a lot of times, whether it's positive things, negative things, whatever, trials, tribulations, whatever I'm going through in my life. But I've been very blessed to have folks who show up for me. So I have always really made it a priority for me to do the same for others. But I will tell you, over the last, I was gonna say 31 years, but over the last like decade, 10 years, I would say that I started to slowly lose that same focus and prioritization of myself. And I will say, especially, candidly speaking, and I know I'm a pretty private person. Folks who know me in real life will say that as well. I'm definitely the person who can like share a lot that you think they're sharing a bunch, and then afterwards you realize they really didn't share that much. So I don't really talk a lot about a lot of these things here, but especially in relationships, especially in romantic relationships, I started to find myself slowly deprioritizing myself. I found myself getting so wrapped up in my partner, which I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I am definitely a my man, okay, to the fullest, okay? But it was almost getting to a point where it was to my detriment. I was losing myself in my partners. I was losing myself in my relationships. Everything I did, every ounce of my being literally was for my partner. And again, I think there is a fine line between a healthy, kind of like pouring into your partner, a healthy dose of that. But I for sure was kind of teeter-tottering that line and getting to a place where I was starting to lose myself. I was no longer reclaiming my time and prioritizing Norah. And it took me some time to even realize that I was in that space. It took me about a year ago going through a really, really painful, bad breakup to realize, like, baby girl, you was lost, okay? You were lost in that relationship. You were lost in that partner. And that is a big part in why you are struggling so much to climb out of it. And it sucks, obviously. It sucks that you kind of have to have, like, shit has to hit the fan, you know what I mean? It sucks that you have to be in these depressive spaces to even realize that that was kind of an area or a space you were operating in, but I was, and it made it very clear. It made it very clear that, like, girl, you were not pouring into yourself. You were not prioritizing your health. You were not working out. You were not taking care of your body. I was slacking off at work. Like, honestly, it was so easy to see how there was just a trickle effect into every other aspect of my life. I wasn't a good daughter. I wasn't, like, just across the board. I could just tell that I was lacking in other areas because I was not prioritizing myself. I wasn't reclaiming my space. I wasn't reclaiming my time. Now, I know to some people just hearing all of this, it's like, okay, so you essentially went from kind of overextending yourself to now being selfish. And no, I would definitely say I'm not operating in a selfish area, selfish space, selfish energy, but I am a little bit more self-focused with my time, if you will. I am definitely a little bit more of a boundary, if you will. You know what I mean? Like, I will sometimes say, like, no, I'm not going to do this because I have to complete this task for me. I will sometimes now be a lot stronger in saying, no, I'm not going to do that because that doesn't make me happy. I'm not going to do that because that doesn't fulfill me. Again, not from a selfish place, because again, in partnership, there's compromising that has to happen. There are going to be times where everything is not going to work your way. I understand that, y'all, okay? Stay with me, okay? But overall, I had to realize that it was important for me to prioritize myself because, as someone who prays, for a family one day, to have children, it's gonna just continue to get that much harder. So I have to get into a space where I'm practicing prioritizing myself now. I need to start putting into practice reclaiming my time and reclaiming my space so that when I do get into, that next chapter of my life when I am a wife, I am a mom, and again, I'm not saying it's easy. I see my friends all the time, working on navigating that. But I have to start practicing that now. It's not something that's gonna happen overnight. It's not gonna happen all of a sudden cold turkey, that now I'm gonna understand how to balance taking care of a family and myself, having self-care days, and it's not gonna happen overnight. So I have to start putting that into practice now, and that's been something that I would really say over the last 6 months, 6 to 8 months, I have really prioritized and focused on, and it feels amazing. It really does. It feels great knowing that maybe not 110%, every day, maybe not 100%, but I try to get as close to that every day in knowing that I did different things that day to really pour into me, to really prioritize myself, to really reclaim my time. I know I've talked about this on my channel a few times, whether that is, pampering myself, self-care days, whether it's taking a nap, whether it's going shopping, traveling, solo dates, whatever it looks like. I have really prioritized making sure that Norah is filled as much as I can be. Again, I am human. There are gonna be some days, baby girl, my inventory is gonna be at a 40%. Some days my inventory is gonna be at a 60. But I want to make sure that even if I am at a 60%, that I know I gave full effort to pour into myself and reclaim my time and reclaim my space as much as I can. So I would say just kind of reflecting and looking back and just really becoming her, and things that have impacted my life, over the last year or so, is maybe being a little bit more selfish, if you will. Being a little bit more selfish with my time, being a little bit more selfish with my space. And I use selfish in air quotes because it has such a negative connotation, or, when people see you prioritizing yourself, they're so quick to say that you're being selfish, but we all know the saying, you can't pour from an empty cup. So if I'm not prioritizing myself, why would others do that? If I'm not prioritizing myself in a relationship, I promise you guys, your partner's not going to do it either. Again, I'm not speaking for everyone, but stick with me here. If you don't prioritize yourself, it is going to be very hard for your significant other to then pour into you that way, because they can see you don't even prioritize yourself. Again, I'm not speaking for everyone, but in my own instances and cases, that was very evident. So I'm reclaiming my time. I'm reclaiming my time. I'm being a little bit more selfish. I'm prioritizing me, whatever that looks like. And honestly, y'all, it feels fucking great. It does. It feels great, and it's definitely made a difference in my overall energy, vibe. I don't know. I'm floating now. I'm floating now because I feel like she's back. She's back, if you will, okay? She's back. Kind of keeping on with, you know, prioritizing myself. I would say my health has definitely been something that I have started to really focus and prioritize a lot more. And again, especially in like the last 6 to 8 months. I have always been someone who's been pretty like self-aware in the sense of I do like to take care of myself both internally and externally. I will say, honestly speaking, it a lot of times was from a shallow standpoint. I was taking care of myself because I wanted to look a certain way. Yeah, we can unpack that whole fucking idea, you know, in another video, but a lot of it definitely stemmed from, you know, looking a certain way and appealing to others a certain way. I definitely still want to look good, but it's bigger than that. It's way bigger than that. As someone I'm about to be 32 this year, again, like I said, you know, having a family one day is definitely something that's important to me. So it is important that I am doing everything that I can to take care of this body, this one temple that we have all been blessed with, baby. This is the only one. So do what you can to take care of it. And whether it has been working out a lot more, some of you might know I started Pilates maybe about a year ago now. Changed my life, okay? Something about Pilates, like I have always been someone who's worked out. I've been an athlete my whole life. So I've always gone to the gym, but something about Pilates, it is just so much more of a mental workout as well. Like obviously physically challenging. Listen, you automatically think slower movements, okay, super soft music, it's gonna be, baby, no, I be in there shaking, okay? I be in there shaking like a leaf. And just what it's done for my body, but like I said, also my mental has been amazing. It is such a peaceful workout, but you really do get an opportunity to kind of just like get super zen, super focused, reflect, meditate, all while working out and taking care of your body. So doing Pilates, eating as clean as I can. I definitely still allow myself to indulge. I'm not dieting by any means. Not that there's anything wrong with dieting, but for me personally, it's just not something I'm too focused on. But I am particular about what I'm putting into my body. It's interesting with a lot of my friends who are moms. I've had an opportunity to learn even more about food and just the crap that they're feeding us. My dad is a chef as well, so oftentimes, you know, he's educating me on things also. So just trying to be a little bit more aware on the things that I'm putting into my body, even recreationally, you know, obviously having a cocktail here and there, trying not to overindulge. Y'all know I've been talking about my gut health a lot, so taking my seed supplements and just trying to take care of me, take care of my body both internally and externally, and doing everything that I can to make sure that I feel my best. There is nothing worse than waking up and you're not actually sick, but you just don't feel good, you know? And I know all of us can think of those days, and I'm not even just talking about the hangovers, but like, you wake up and you feel so lethargic, you feel fucking tired, your body just feels weak, you just feel like you don't have the proper nutrients, and it just sucks. And even that, I will say, I was living in that space for far too long. I just was not taking care of myself. I was eating all over the place. I was eating crap. Some days I was eating too much. Some days I wasn't eating enough. It wasn't healthy at all. And I had to take a step back and say, Norah, you want all these things, you put on all these outfits or whatever, and you're not even taking care of what's inside. You know what I mean? You can put all the makeup on, you can get all the designer clothes that you want, but if you are not taking care of your health, you're gonna fall apart anyways, and all of that is not gonna do anything for you. You know how they say, you could keep on putting the lipstick on a pig, baby girl, it's gonna still be a pig. And if you're treating your body like a pigsty, it's gonna start to reflect, it's gonna start to ooze out. So that was something that I had to make sure I was pouring into and also focusing on, and that was my health. And I know I'm talking a lot right now about, you know, physical health and, you know, my actual body, but my spiritual health has also been something that I've been really focusing on, and I think has been a huge, if not probably the most important piece in me becoming her and really changing my life around, has been my faith, you know, my investing in my spirit and my spiritual journey and my relationship with God. And not to get super preachy here. You know, obviously I know everyone has, you know, their own personal beliefs, but I was raised Catholic, went to Catholic schools my entire life, all girls Catholic high school. So, you know, first communion, read the Bible, all that good stuff. You know, that's kind of how I was raised. As I got older, I kind of pulled a little bit away from really the church and religion aspect of it, I guess you will. And I would say now I am more of a Christian, just a Christian, a believer of Christ. I read, I study the Bible, I do attend church pretty regularly. And yeah, just working on, you know, my own personal journey and relationship with God. And the way that I have been able to prioritize that more over the last 6 months has made a world of a difference in my life. You know, I think back to 17, 18, 19-year-old Norah, even a little bit younger, where you were like, oh, God knows my heart. God knows how I feel about him. You know, I'm down with G.O.D. Yeah, you know me. You know, he knows, okay? He knows. But it's so much more than that. You know, it's so much more than that. And it's so interesting how we will prioritize and pour into our earthly, you know, relationships. We will do everything we need to do to pour into one another. But for some reason, that spiritual relationship, just the thought is enough. You know what I mean? He knows what's on my heart, it's enough. And I had to kind of take a step back too. And it's like, girl, you be praying and asking for all these things. When was the last time you had a conversation to just say thank you? When was the last time you had a conversation with God to just be like, yo, thank you so much for just hearing me and giving me an opportunity to wake up today and just have another chance? But you be mad quick to say, Lord Jesus, can you make the funds keep appearing so I can keep buying all this stuff? Like what? BFFR, okay? BFFR, okay? Seriously, this is what I be sounding like when I'm talking to God, y'all. I just be chatting exactly like who I am, coming as myself, but I had to be real. I had to be real. You can't keep asking for all these blessings and all these things in your life and you're not even prioritizing and pouring into that relationship. And it's a domino effect. You pour into that, you will reap the benefits and see how it continues to spill over into your life. And I had to stop playing around. You know what I mean? I had to stop playing around, faking the funk, and realize that your spiritual relationship and journey and relationship with God is just as important in all of this. And it's the only way you're going to become her. It's the only way you're going to continue becoming that girl. It's the only way you really will see change in your life. And this last 6, 7, 8 months, you know, going to church, whether it's in person, I've been pretty good actually going in person, but if for whatever reason I can't, watching online, you know, having my worship moments every morning, doing my journaling, my gratitude, just having conversations with God as often as I can, reflecting, conversations with my friends. I've got this great core like community of friends who, you know, we've kind of been pouring into and really investing more time into our relationships with God together, which has been amazing. You know, a lot of times we have these great groups of friends that we could turn up with like there's no tomorrow. Baby, we could go out Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and if it's a long weekend, I'll see you on Monday, okay? But then it's like, okay, we can do all of this together, but somebody invites you to church and it's kind of like, I don't know, man, about them church people, girl. What you mean you don't know about them church people? It's not them church people inviting you, it's your homegirl, it's your homeboy, it's the friend that you was able to go take 10 shots with at the bar. It's the same friend that you were able to, you know, bounce from party to party to party with, but for some reason you don't trust them when they're inviting you to have a conversation with God. I don't know, I ain't trying to get on my soapbox right now. And this was a conversation, like I said, I'm not, you know, trying to convict anybody out there. This was a conversation I had to have with me and a conversation that I had to have with myself, that something had to give. I was like, Norah, you're clearly going through the motions and doing all these other things, but something's got to give. And that was something that was glaringly obvious to me. And I can say, when they say God don't play about his kids, baby, God don't play about his kids, God don't play about me. And it's just been so dope to see the change. It's so dope to see the light and the health and just the way that it's been able to push me into this era, you know, push me into an era where I'm continuing to becoming her, I'm becoming that girl, I'm becoming the woman that I know I'm destined to be, and making sure my relationship with God is on a healthy path has definitely made a huge difference. I'd like to say I've always been a pretty good communicator. Not the best, not perfect, obviously there's always room for improvement, but I'm a pretty good communicator. Like, I'm not afraid to speak my mind and say how I feel about things. But I did notice, and again, maybe a little bit more so in relationships, that I did shy away sometimes from, you know, conflict. You know, I had an issue sometimes speaking up, speaking my mind, communicating if things made me feel uncomfortable. You know, if I was confused about something, if I was concerned, you know, there would be other instances that I would have no problem speaking up about. You know, if I had other things that I was passionate about, I would speak up. But I realized my communication skills definitely needed work. I needed to be able to communicate effectively in a respectful way, but from like the heart, you know, like from the truth, from the heart, and making sure that I was speaking in a matter that was truly going to express how I felt. I needed work in that area. I needed quite a bit of work in that area. And crazy enough, I have, you know, some previous relationships to actually thank for that. You know, that really pushed me to say, hey, Norah, you would always say you want X, Y, and Z from me. But when I kind of ask for the same from you, you shut down, you walk away, you turn down the conversation, you dismiss the conversation. That was a hard one to swallow. You know, we all like to think we don't do it, and then you finally hear it enough times and you're like, okay, baby, maybe I'm the problem. Am I the drama? You know what I mean? Like, am I the drama? I was the drama in some situations, not all the time. Okay, not all the time, not too much on your girl, but sometimes it was the drama, and I had to realize that I needed to work on communicating effectively and speaking up effectively, because only at that point can somebody give you and provide what you need. None of us are mind readers. We don't have a magic ball that we can just shake to tell us what we're feeling. So until I could start communicating effectively and letting folks know exactly how I felt about things, I was always going to be operating in a space where I wasn't going to become her. And once I started to do that and really communicate and speak up and say how I feel, how things make me feel, that was the only time that I was able to really start to see a difference and feeling like I'm becoming her, I'm reclaiming my time, I'm reclaiming my life, and really making things turn around. Something that's been really cool that I'm really proud of myself of, I find that now I'm not uncomfortable asking the tough questions, you know? And it's so funny. I work in a career where I ask tough questions all the time. I have no problem, you know, kind of sniffing out the BS and again, in an eloquent fashion and definitely not disrespectful, but I have no problem having tough conversations when it comes to work. In the workspace, I have no problem. But interestingly enough, for some reason, in some of my more romantic relationships, I had a hard time having those tough conversations, and I had to reflect and understand why. Is it because you don't want to hear the truth? Are you scared that if you hear the truth, that person is no longer gonna have that perfect image that you gave them? You know, is it because you know now if you really do hear the truth, you're gonna have to take them down from the pedestal that you decided to put them on? They never asked you to be on that pedestal. What's the reason? What is the reason? And I had to start reflecting and realizing you're doing them a disservice. And I was doing myself a disservice by not having the conversations that I needed to have. I was doing myself a disservice by not communicating and speaking up my feelings and what was important to me. And ladies, specifically right now to my ladies, speak up. Don't be afraid to speak up. If something makes you uncomfortable, if something makes you upset, if you're not happy about something, if you are happy about something, speak up and please do share. Don't be afraid to ask the tough questions, because these are things that obviously if they're popping up in your head, they're important to you and you need to know them. Like I keep telling y'all, I'm almost 32 years old. I am thinking about marriage. I am thinking about children. These are things that I aspire for and aspire to. They are important to me. There are certain things 21-year-old Norah was not asking. She probably should have been, but she wasn't, okay? We're gonna keep it funky, I'm gonna keep it 100. I wasn't. Now, at this point in my life, there are questions I need to be asking before I'm stepping into a relationship. There are questions I need to be asking this person who I potentially want to be my life partner. I need to be asking those questions because again, I'm only doing them a disservice, wasting their time, and doing myself a disservice, wasting my time. And until I could put that into practice and start realizing that yes, as uncomfortable as it's going to be, it will do you 110% good and much better in the long run. And that has been such a, I don't even know, a fulfilling kind of like aha moment, if you will, like a light bulb. And it shouldn't have been, honestly. I mean, it's not rocket science, but we're growing, we're evolving, and you learn things. But it has been such a weight lifted off my shoulders. I feel so much more enlightened in realizing like, these are not bad conversations. These are things that you should be talking about, and it's okay to speak up. It's okay to speak up in bad times. It's okay to speak up in good times. It's okay to let folks know if something doesn't make you happy, and it's definitely okay to let folks know, hey, you're crushing it right now. You are making me so happy in my life. Thank you. And kind of, you know, with all those things encompassing, is when I realized, reflecting back, you know, like I said, over the last 6, 7, 8 months, that like, yo, I'm becoming her. Like, I'm really becoming the Norah Justin I know I have been designed to be. And it's a fucking amazing feeling. It's an amazing feeling becoming her, walking, living in my truth, operating in my highest energy. Of course, I have my days where I don't feel that way, but it's fucking fire, y'all. It is amazing, and I hope this video, I know as chaotic and all over the place as it probably was, and I'm so sorry, but I hope this helped. I hope this helped, and maybe, you know, some of these things you can start to put into practice. Maybe you are already putting some of these things into practice. Y'all know I always say, let's continue the conversation down below. Let me know, what are you kind of doing in your own life, in your everyday life, that is helping you kind of change your life and helping you operate in a space that you are becoming her, becoming the best version of yourself. And hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you were able to take something from this. Yeah, thank y'all so much for listening as always. I love you, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, y'all.